Good day. In the gospel, we heard the verse, Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son so that your Son may glorify you. There's a sign in front of a house on Mill Street here in Bloomfield that reads, "We are in this together." On the other side, "Thank you, healthcare and essential workers." I can see the sign from the sun porch of the manse. I think of how fitting this sign is for the pandemic. The strong suggestion from health officials at this moment is that where we cannot physically distance, we should be wearing a non-medical face covering. The mask that we are being asked to wear is not so much to protect me from the virus. Rather, the mask reduces the chance of me transmitting the virus to you. You wear a mask to protect me, and I wear a mask to protect you. We are in this together. And as we isolate in our family bubble so that we can help flatten the curve so that the hospitals are not overwhelmed, you make space for me and I make space for you. We are in this together. The parents, my mentors, the teachers who form my identity as a Christian have tried to convince me that relationship is to be my focus as I grow humanly and spiritually. Relationship, care, concern, love. The author of the Gospel of John is one of my important teachers. As we heard in this gospel, Jesus prays, Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son so that your Son may glorify you. And later we see in the Gospel of John, chapter 19, verse 30, that Jesus, in his moment of death, releases the Spirit. We receive the Holy Spirit. And the glory of God is each one of us fully alive in the Holy Spirit. In the company of Jesus, we are most alive when we surrender our lives in love for others. My Trinitarian faith makes sense to me. I am drawn into the circle of giving and receiving, the circle of love. And I confess that it isn't always easy. I confess that choosing to relate more and care for others can be difficult in the context of all the cultural influences which I experience, which give precedence to autonomy, to independence, to control. Now, this is a time, as we're all appreciating, time of rapid and jarring change. As we track the local, provincial, national, global spread of the virus, we're challenged to change even the simplest habits. I wash my hands with soap and water much more carefully and longer than I used to. I'm more swift to get my elbow up to my mouth when I feel a sneeze coming on. Walking the dog, I look down the street and I step out to put a physical distance between myself and other walkers. And I warn the children about keeping a distance. They love to hug, and that's not appreciated at this time, at least with people outside the circle, family bubble. All of us have to pay attention to the advice and mandates of government and health officials. Our leaders are front and center on the TV, and it seems like it's 24 hours. They are present to me and you in a new way, and I appreciate that they too have their health threatened by the virus. We are in this together. And more will be demanded of us in the near future. If children in Ontario return to school in September, the requirement of physical distancing will not allow for crowded buses and classrooms. Staggered hours may require grandparents, parents, guardians, and caregivers to share more time with the children. We all may have to make an effort to install and to learn the technologies for distance learning. Our settled routines and expectations for the future will be disrupted. Teachers will face levels of risk and the stress and challenge of adaptation to varied learning platforms. And I want to say, let us make this time of disruptions a time of opportunity. We have it in us to be positive and creative. In my situation, I have come to know, I will come to know my children better. And I'm starting to know the specifics of their learning curriculum. Once again, believe it or not, I can factor a polynomial equation. And together in the family, we're reviewing the history of our time with our daughters and have learned about the First and Second World Wars. And believe it, my French needs some work. We are disciples of Jesus. In his hour of suffering, Jesus reaffirmed his love for the Father and prayed, I can do no less. We can do no less than what Jesus did. We can pray. Have we been loving God lately? Let us relate more at depth and consistently to the mystery that approaches us. In the midst of so much sad, distressing news, I find myself turning to the model of Jesus in prayer in the gospel. He prays, Father, my hour has come. Glorify your Son so that your Son may glorify you. And I pray, please, God, help me to be a person for others. We are in this together includes God.